Hi everybody. Armenia, historically known as the first nation to adopt Christianity, is witnessing a monumental transformation in its religious landscape. The country that once boasted grand churches and a rich Christian heritage is now undergoing a remarkable shift, with Islam rapidly gaining ground among its population. Today, Armenia is home to a majority Muslim population, a stark contrast to its roots as a bastion of Christianity. This transition has not only reshaped the nation's religious identity but also led to significant cultural and social changes. The adoption of Islam in Armenia is not merely the result of external pressures or geopolitical factors, but rather a profound internal shift. Generations of Armenians who have traditionally adhered to Christianity are now exploring new spiritual paths, with many finding solace and a sense of purpose in the teachings of Islam. What is behind this seismic shift, and what are the social and cultural consequences of Armenia's transformation from a Christian-majority country to one where Islam is the dominant faith? Armenia has long been recognized as the first nation to officially adopt Christianity, a status that has been central to the nation's identity for over 1,700 years. Christianity became the state religion in 301 AD, and ever since, the Armenian Apostolic Church has been a fundamental pillar of Armenian society. The country's history, culture, and art have been shaped by this deep connection to Christianity. The iconic churches, monasteries, and religious traditions are not merely symbols of faith, but also representations of Armenian resilience and cultural pride. For centuries, Christianity in Armenia has been much more than a religion. It has been the soul of the nation, uniting Armenians across the globe through shared religious practices, beliefs, and a collective history of survival. Yet, over time, various political, economic, and social changes have begun to challenge the once steadfast grip of Christianity on Armenian society. This shift in religious allegiance is a complex process that cannot be explained by a single factor, but rather a combination of historical, political, and personal influences. While Armenia's Christian legacy is undeniable, the emergence of Islam as a dominant force is reshaping the country's religious map. This change is not a sudden or overnight event, but rather the culmination of several decades of gradual shifts, particularly in the post-Soviet era. The collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 opened the door for new forms of religious expression, and many Armenians began to explore spiritual options beyond the traditional Christian framework. The growing influence of Islam can be attributed to several factors, including cultural exchanges, migration, and the global spread of Islamic teachings. Historically, Armenia has been surrounded by Muslim-majority countries, such as Turkey, Iran, and Azerbaijan, and these nations have long had an impact on Armenian society. The spread of Islamic ideas through media, migration, and educational exchanges has made it easier for Armenians to explore Islam and consider it as an alternative to Christianity. In recent years, the number of Armenians converting to Islam has increased significantly. This trend is most visible among the younger generation, many of whom are seeking spiritual fulfillment in a religion that seems to offer a more immediate connection to a higher power. The decision to embrace Islam is often seen as a personal spiritual journey, one that offers clarity, inner peace, and a sense of belonging. The rapid growth of Islam in Armenia is not just a matter of religious preference, but also has profound social implications. As more Armenians embrace Islam, they face the challenge of navigating a society that has long been rooted in Christianity. Converting to Islam in a predominantly Christian society can be a deeply personal decision, but it also often involves significant social and familial challenges. For many converts, embracing Islam means facing opposition from their families, friends, and communities, who may view their decision as a betrayal of their heritage and cultural identity. The transition is not always smooth, and converts often find themselves in a liminal space, caught between two worlds, one rooted in their Christian past and the other in their new Muslim identity. This internal conflict, combined with societal pressures, can create tension and division within families and communities. Despite these challenges, many of those who convert to Islam in Armenia report experiencing a profound sense of spiritual fulfillment and peace. Islam's teachings, with their emphasis on submission to God, peace, and social justice, resonate deeply with those seeking meaning in their lives. Converts often describe a sense of belonging to a larger global Muslim community, or Ummah, which provides them with a sense of solidarity and support. The rise of Islam among Armenians is especially notable among the younger generation, who are increasingly disillusioned with traditional religious institutions. Many young Armenians find that Islam speaks to their spiritual needs in a way that Christianity no longer does. The appeal of Islam, with its clear ethical guidelines and emphasis on personal connection with God, offers many young people a sense of clarity and direction in their lives. The younger generation's interest in Islam is also fueled by the increasing availability of information about the religion. In the digital age, access to religious teachings, online courses, and Islamic scholars has never been easier. Young Armenians are now able to learn about Islam through the internet, social media, and online communities, making it easier for them to explore the faith on their terms. As a result, many young Armenians who were born into Christian families are choosing to embrace Islam, sometimes without the knowledge or approval of their parents. This growing trend represents a break from the traditional Armenian Christian identity, as more and more young people are finding spiritual meaning and fulfillment in the teachings of Islam. As Armenia transitions from its Christian roots to a majority Muslim population, the question arises: what will this mean for the country's cultural and religious future? Will Armenia's unique Christian heritage be preserved, or will it be replaced by the Islamic faith that is rapidly spreading throughout the country? The future of Armenia's religious landscape is still uncertain. While Islam continues to grow in popularity, Christianity remains an important part of the nation's identity. Many Armenians, particularly the older generations, continue to view their Christian faith as a central part of their cultural identity and are deeply committed to preserving their Christian heritage. However, as the younger generation increasingly embraces Islam, the cultural and religious fabric of Armenia will inevitably change. The integration of Islam into Armenian society will bring about new forms of religious and cultural expression, blending elements of both Christian and Islamic traditions. This blending of traditions will likely result in a more diverse, multifaceted Armenian identity, one that reflects the complexity and richness of the country's history and its evolving future. In conclusion, Armenia is undergoing a profound religious transformation, one that will shape its future in ways that are still unfolding. The rise of Islam in Armenia represents a shift in spiritual and cultural identity, as Armenians explore new religious paths in search of meaning and purpose. While the country's Christian heritage remains a strong and cherished part of its identity, Islam is now playing an increasingly important role in shaping the nation's spiritual and social fabric. How this transformation will play out in the coming years remains to be seen, but what is clear is that Armenia is on the cusp of a new era in its long and storied religious history. The rise of Islam in Armenia, a country long defined by its Christian heritage, is reshaping both individual lives and the broader national landscape. This transformation reflects a deepening spiritual search among Armenians, the changing religious dynamics, and the potential for greater interfaith understanding in a traditionally Christian society. Armenia, the first country to adopt Christianity as its state religion, has always been defined by its Christian roots. However, in recent years, a significant shift has occurred, with an increasing number of Armenians embracing Islam. This transformation has been driven by personal spiritual journeys, as many Armenians feel drawn to the simplicity and peace offered by Islamic teachings. Stories of Armenians like Ani and Aram illustrate this change. Ani, for instance, felt disillusioned with the rituals of her Christian upbringing and found a deep sense of peace in Islam's direct connection to God. Despite her family's resistance, she embraced Islam, finding clarity and fulfillment in its teachings. Similarly, Aram, after experiencing personal hardships, found solace in Islam's message of justice and compassion, as well as the sense of community it provided. For both, Islam offered answers and a sense of belonging that they felt was missing in their previous faith. This personal shift towards Islam is part of a larger societal transformation in Armenia. While Christianity remains central to Armenian identity, the growth of Islam introduces new cultural and religious dynamics. As more Armenians embrace Islam, the country's religious landscape is evolving, fostering a more pluralistic society. Interfaith dialogue has become crucial in this process. The increasing Muslim population presents an opportunity for Christians and Muslims to work together, share traditions, and bridge gaps. This is important in a country where religious divisions have been historically pronounced. Through educational programs, social initiatives, and community outreach, Armenia has the potential to foster greater understanding and tolerance between its Christian and Muslim populations. Armenia's growing Muslim population also holds political significance. Historically, Armenia has had strong ties with other Christian-majority nations, particularly Russia, but the rise of Islam could enhance Armenia's relationships with its Muslim neighbors, such as Iran and Turkey. As the nation's religious identity shifts, it may play a more prominent role as a bridge between Christian and Muslim-majority countries in the region, fostering diplomatic cooperation. Socially, the spread of Islamic values such as charity, justice, and community service is positively impacting Armenian society. Many converts to Islam are actively involved in humanitarian work, helping marginalized groups and promoting social justice. The integration of Islamic holidays like Eid is enriching Armenia's cultural tapestry, blending Christian and Muslim traditions in a unique way. As Armenia navigates these changes, it faces the challenge of reconciling its Christian heritage with its growing Muslim presence. This evolving religious landscape calls for a future that embraces both faiths, fostering unity and understanding. The younger generation, more open to religious exploration, will likely play a key role in shaping this new identity. The future of Armenia's religious landscape will hinge on its ability to embrace religious diversity and promote peaceful coexistence. Ultimately, the rise of Islam in Armenia is an opportunity to build a more inclusive, pluralistic society. Through dialogue, mutual respect, and collaboration, Armenia can develop a unique religious identity that blends its Christian past with its Islamic future, making it a model of peaceful coexistence in a world often divided by religious differences.